The flash factor. There it is. It's flashy. The flash factor in making fish bite, specifically bass, because that's what I do. Bass fish for 20 years, and I'll tell you, the flash factor is one of those things that nobody talks about. Everybody talks about, oh, was it watermelon or was it watermelon with 7 purple flakes in it? They don't even talk about the lure or the size or any of that kind of stuff. Now, I've talked in the past about what makes a bass bite a lure, and there is definitely action is number one, far and away, and color is a factor, but size and speed are more important. And then you've got color, which does play a factor, but flash, that's right. This is one of the original lures that you see flash with. This, it's a old school rattle trap right here that's got that chrome finish on it. And then also one of the original, spinnerbait with willow blades or any kind of blades, but you got those nickel or gold blades that provide that flash. Well, the flash in both of those baits also is created by some vibration that's a part of the bait. I would consider that a different factor. Now, what I'm talking about is flash as it pertains to color. And what I mean by that is, here's two deep diving crankbaits, and they're both shad patterns. This is a Spray Little John DD70, and this is cellmate color. That is one of my absolute favorite colors. I've caught a zillion fish on it, and as you can see, there is no flash in that color. It's just kind of a gizzard shad type color, white bass type color, and then here we've got a newer color called homemade shad, which is a little more realistic, but it's got those flash scales on it, which gives it a lot of pop and flash. Definitely a different color variation in those two. And there could be times when that little extra flash will get you a few extra bites. Now, does that mean that you're going to throw something with flash in it all the time? I don't think so. I think the light conditions will play a factor. I think the fish getting conditioned to the same bait. Now you have to kind of change baits, colors on them, give them a little different look. I think that can also trigger additional strikes. So that's kind of where I see the flash factor making a difference. Now, we'll go on the finesse side here. This is a little Missile Baits bomb shot. It's a little drop shot bait. And as you can see, this one is just regular green pumpkin. And I think everybody would agree green pumpkin is just an amazing color. It's a great color. It works really well all over the country in a bunch of different situations. Works really good. But green pumpkin flash in water that's got a little color to it, as you can see, it's actually a silver hologram flake in this, but it provides a nice little pop. And when you compare the two side by side, they're different, very much different. In my opinion, when you got water that has just a little bit of color in it, and you've got some sunshine, this green pumpkin flash or a color similar provides a little something extra. I feel like that is one of those times where you get extra bites because of that little bit of extra flash in that bait. Now, the green pumpkin, it works great all the time. I think that green pumpkin is just a little subtle in those off-colored water situations. Of course, if the water's real clear and they're getting a really good look, the little bit more subtle color, more natural color could be the way to go. But I've seen it when, man, it's just crystal clear water, that green pumpkin flash or some kind of, almost a contrast color gets more bites. And that's one thing I hope you're picking up right now. There is no one steadfast rule for flash. Like when do I need flash or when do I not need flash? That's a big factor, is that don't have any steadfast rule. Let the fish tell you what they want to do. Now, I'll give you another example. I showed you a flipping portion. Now here's I showed you a finesse portion. Here's the flipping version. These are Missile Baits D-bombs, and this one here is Bruiser Flash. It's one of our best-selling colors overall. I mean, any black and blue is going to do well, and then this is bruiser. So it's the exact same color. One has that silver hologram flake in it, and the other has none. And the regular bruiser, I think, works really well in clearer water, and it works well in dirty water under really calm, slick conditions when the bite gets really tough. I really like going to that bruiser when the bite gets really tough, and I just want to be a little more sneaky, a little more subtle. I like that. The bite's a little bit more aggressive, or you have lower light conditions, or you have a little bit of wind. I want that flash in there so that those fish, so it looks like scales, coming off of whatever it is, bluegill or a minnow or something like that. That's what I think that those flash colors kind of emulate, is they emulate, those minnows getting hit. If you've never seen a minnow get hit underwater by a bass, scales fly everywhere. It looks like a pillow fight underwater, but it's not feathers. It is actual scales from those little minnows. The little minnow, the scales are very soft and very subtle, like soft, and they don't stay on very well. That bass hits them, poof, they go crazy. So I think that this type of flash, rattle trap wise, simulates that somewhat, and then the more subtle flash in the lures, I think really kind of simulates the scales coming off of a minnow. And I think bass are naturally programmed, when they see those scales floating around in the water, they know somebody just got messed up. Somebody, as in a minnow, just got messed up. And there could be other minnows to mess up as well. And so if they see one that looks like it's, kind of been roughed up, may have some scales falling off, boom, they might go after it. I don't think that's the same factor with the crankbait. I think the crankbait is just finding a little different trigger to catch them. Now, I'll tell you one quick story. I was fishing the same area doing a TV show, and the boat that I was fishing in, we were fishing against the other boat, and we fished within sight of each other most all day, so we fished over a lot of the same fish. The other boat, we found out later, caught about twice as many fish as we did. We were fishing the exact same bait, Spro, Fat John. It's a little square bill type bait. The boat that I was fishing in, we thought that a more subtle shad looking color was the way to go, because the water was relatively clear. There was a lot of fish up shallow. It was the fall, kind of typical shallow cranking. But the other boat was fishing citrus shad, a brighter color that has that, and it had that scale flash on the side of the baits. Real popular colors, nothing secretive or anything. I just don't happen to have one to show you. But that citrus shad in the fall, that brighter, more flash color, got twice as many bites. It was definitely a color deal in getting more bites than we got on that very subtle, it's called Spooky Nasty. Very subtle color, works great. I have pounded them in all different kind of situations, even with the Little John DD in that color. So I know the color works very well. But under that situation, that citrus shad, and I think it was a lot because of that flash. Those flash scales on the side in the fall seem to be a big deal. That is one kind of little tip I might could give you from this whole flash factor, is that in the fall, baits with flash or baits with chrome tend to be a big deal. And then also around the shad spawn, if you're fishing in one of those lakes that has a big shad spawn, we all know spinnerbait worked great in that shad spawn situation, but any other kind of bait with a lot of flash, hitting them with that flash factor can be a big deal. So just keep the flash factor in mind when you're choosing what color and what bait you're going to be fishing in certain situations. And if you have any other stories, I want to hear about it. Drop them down there in the comments. I want to know, what flash factor story can you tell to where you got more bites than somebody else, or you think that made a big difference, or you went from not getting bit to catching a bunch of fish. I want to know. I want to hear about it. So drop it down there in the comments. Let's all learn from this video. Thanks.